High level language means it is straightforward for humans to read and write, and also to computer for read and process. For example, there are other high level language you might have heard of, if you are aware. It is like Java, C++, PHP, Ruby, Perl, JavaScript, and many more. So these are all high level languages. With the help of interpreter and compiler, you have now flexibility to use different types of machine, different hardwares, and then they can be accordingly converted to their machine language with the help of interpreter and compilers. So in summary, we have two programming language translators, and the two categories that we discussed is the so it is one. So let me have x is equal to 1. So I want to print x. Again, if I directly press x and enter, it will give me the value what is that it have stored. Also you can have a print x and then enter, it will print x, right? And also let's say these are the methods in Python, and you want to know that the help function, for example, that array. Okay, now we have a data. Let's enter the value. You can see that this is the data. Now you want to do the you just want to select that first data of this array, so you just put data. So this is where you can provide salary. You just provide an index here, and you provide that which index. Let's say I want to index 1. So this is at the second array 0, 1, 2. So this is your 2. So this index have just come out. Similarly, just you want to have a data like you want to have first or second index data, just provide there and just put 2. It will give you that index, so it will bring you that data. So just to give you a flavor of it, just have a look at our again the whiteboard. So let's say, so for example, let's say you have a vector, just we have seen that in this list format, and then you have this 3 elements in there, and this is 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now this the index you talk about, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is your data. Okay, now when I am calling data 0, it is just keeping this value, and the rest is gone. So it will return just this value. Pandas and series command for that, then we will get it. So for example, let's say we have some object obj, and then now here you remember I am calling pandas, the actual one which we are going to see. So as I said that the series talking about series, so you just use series and then use the same list here. Okay, now you run it. Now once you see this object, it is the same thing, right? Now you see that it have come up with that with index as well. So now you can see the difference between array, and now built on that NumPy, the pandas have beautifully created an series where it have stored that list objects like the items along with the index. So this is one step further, and there towards our building where we are going towards the data handling and visualization part. So now you can see the differences, that how NumPy array and have just upgraded to pandas series, and then how it have come up with that indexing part, and that becomes very useful when we are handling and structuring the data and calling the data for different purposes in analytics and visualization. So this is all about series. Now let's talk about data frame. So data frame. So data frame represents a tabular spreadsheet like data structure containing an ordered collection of columns, and each of which will have a different value type. It can be numeric, bool string, boolean. So let me give you a visual feeling of it before we go to the one we are talking. So you can think of data frame as a tabular form or something like this. Let's say this is your list columns, and these are your rows where your data will be filling. And the data frame, the additional part is that it would have an index along with it. So these are the column index, and this is the row index with it. So you can see, you can call it index column. So here you will start 0, 1, 2 as you know, and here again for the column 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is your data frame where you will have the tabular form and very nicely arranged, which is a very good tool for putting that address. I will just put the complete link we just copied from there, and I will put the data address, which is data.csv, okay, along with extension. So it will not work until I just put a recursive, which I will put all the full string as a whole when it is trying to read the data, and then it will work. So just remember that you can copy as I copied from that full address there, and then put R just before the inverted comma, and then at the end it should provide that get file name with the extension, and if you read it will read it. Okay, so this is one way where you become independent wherever the data is there in your machine, and you can follow this formatting and you can just read it from there. Okay. But remember, for different device, for example Windows, we forward use this forward slash. Sometimes in some machine, for example Linux, you can use the backward slash. So these are the differences you should notice from depending upon your machine, but this is the format remains same. You recursively put the whole link address under that, and then it makes it independent. Wherever your data file you have in the system, you can utilize it. So this is about reading the data from your the machine wherever it is. You can also try for the URL method. For example, I have a URL let's say you want to load the data from URL. You have the link and access to the file somewhere in the cloud, and you want to read it. So you can also do that. For example, I will give you an example for that. For example, you just define an URL and just put it the value. So this is the HTTP. You just have to provide this in a string format, otherwise it will try to get that in the this variable. You'll try to find that kind of variable. So this is that URL you decide. Now if you want to read the same thing in the that read CSV, you can try. So let's say this is my df4 some other data frame, and I want to read. Here I'll just type URL, just define the variable, and I will run it, and it will load. So that is your let's say x and y, and that would be your axis. We call it axis, and these axes, it can have the four all borders, so that these all things are called spines. And then you have a curve here, right? So let's say this is your curve, this is your curve. So you can have something like this curve or something like this, right? So this is your curve, maybe line. This is your plot, whether it's line plot or scattered plots, and for that. Now let's talk about that what approach we should follow in plotting the graph. Okay, so this is all about giving you the flavor of the multi-plot in the matplotlib. What we have seen, that customization, we have seen that the steps which we follow, how to do the multi-plots on the same curve, utilizing the multi-axes, and also that's about it. And now let's say let me the reference bar better and more details you should look for lots of. So see how beautifully you have just changed the, you can even customize the sizing from here. You can decide on whatever size. So whatever size you can provide, and the one beauty, you can have a playing with that. You can zoom it, you can double click here, you can use the lens from here, zoom at the particular point. You can reset it, you can save it, lots of figure. You can again right click and save as, and you can save the output file with it itself, so it can be changed. For that you can call, again you can call p.legend .label text color, and let's say you want to have it green, let's say. Okay, now see how it is. See, the label color is changed. So there are lots of other customization can be done with this. Also, the one thing which we have discussed, the range you can vary. As you had done the level changing there, set level, set range. So here we'll again provide that thing in the figure, And here we are deciding that where how to plot the different axes on the figure canvas. But here we are defining it when we are showing it, defining different renderers and where to plot, in what format you want to plot, individually or together, and this each represents the plot. So there is a slight differences you should notice, but once you practice you will recognize, and it will be easier to handle. So this is about a multi-plot where you have the customization of row or column. But let's say you want to grid, like you want to have four side by two row, two column. Then how to do that thing? So to do that, you have to just do a more. Now you see the difference. Here it is not linked, right? If I move it, the only one is moving, not linked. It is not moving with all three together. But if I link it with this, and then arrange with this, now you see all are moving. I move here, it will play everywhere. So that beauty is that you can depending upon the data types, you can play with one, and corresponding changes you can see all the curves. So you can design your plots so that you have the data and